I want to share a story that changed my entire life. My name is Thomas, and until recently, I believed that my marriage was perfect. My wife, Sophia, and I lived in complete harmony, even when we occasionally had minor disagreements. For example, one day she was upset because I forgot to congratulate her mother on her birthday. Of course, I quickly made up for it. I sent a bouquet by courier and apologized immediately. Sophia softened, and we decided to remind each other about important events from then on. But, as often happens, even the best fairy tales don't always have a happy ending. Everything started at the beginning of June. I returned from work and saw Sophia rushing to set the table. I noticed there were 3 place settings. "I don't understand, are we expecting someone?" I asked, surprised. "Yes, Tommy, imagine, a few days ago, my cousin wrote to me. We haven't seen each other since childhood. He said he would be passing through our city, and I invited him over. He should be here any minute now," she replied nervously. "I don't recall you ever mentioning him. Do you have any pictures?" I asked as I headed to the bathroom. "Let me check," she quickly responded. While I was washing my hands, Sophia flipped through old albums, carefully studying the photos, and after a few minutes, concluded. "Looks like they were left at my parents' house. I couldn't find any." "Well, you can show me later. Sit down, let's wait for our guest." Just then, the doorbell rang. Sophia opened the door, and I saw a tall, slender man. He looked about 10 years younger than us. "Thomas," I extended my hand, inviting him in. "Leon," he responded, shaking my hand. Sophia quickly took his jacket and showed him where the bathroom was. On the table, her signature roast chicken was steaming, and next to it was a carafe of homemade wine. "So, shall we toast to the reunion?" I asked, pouring the wine. The guest didn't refuse. During the conversation, I found out that he worked as a manager at a large company and came to the city to look at plots for a new building project. The entire evening, Sophia couldn't take her eyes off him. She gazed at him, smiled, and constantly served him more food. He stayed the night with us, as sending him to a hotel so late would have been rude. "You seem very lively," I told my wife as we were going to bed. "Oh, don't mention it, Tom." When Leon arrived, it felt like childhood memories came rushing back. "Nostalgia," she replied, dreamily. The next morning, I offered to drive Leon somewhere. "Thank you, but I'll take a taxi, I still have to find a place to stay," he declined. "Why look? Maybe Leon can stay here with us?" Sophia asked innocently. I agreed, as I didn't see any harm in her brother staying a little longer. One day, after he had been living with us for several days, I came home earlier than usual. In the hallway, I saw Leon shirtless, who quickly shook my hand and went to the bathroom. Sophia, meanwhile, had locked herself in the bedroom. "Honey, is everything all right? Can I come in?" "Yes, Thomas, I'm just changing, I got a little dirty cooking dinner," she replied. A few minutes later, she opened the door and cheerfully said, "Come on, let's celebrate. We have a reason." "What happened? What are we celebrating?" "Leon bought himself a new car, look out the window." I looked out and saw the car. The entire evening, Sophia didn't leave her brother's side, hugging and even kissing him. It seemed too bold, and I couldn't help but drag her to the bedroom to calm her down a bit. 2 weeks passed, and it seemed like Leon had no intention of leaving. One day, a colleague brought me some exotic fruit from a trip. Sophia was allergic to them, so I decided to take them to her mother. During tea, she asked, "How are things?" I told her about the cousin. "Cousin Leon? I only have nieces," she responded, shocked. I froze. Who, then, was living in my house? I ran out and rushed back home. I opened the door and heard strange sounds coming from our bedroom. Cautiously, I approached and saw my wife in bed with him. I grabbed her by the hair and pushed her away. Leon received a punch in the face. I ordered him to leave. Then I threw Sophia out of the house. Later, she convinced me to meet. Tears streaming down her face, she begged for a chance. But I filed for divorce and forgot about her forever. Sophia couldn't accept that I had kicked her out of our home. Every day she waited for me outside, bombarding me with messages and calls. Every time, I heard the same thing: let me explain, I love you, it's not what you think. At first, I ignored her, but eventually, when her tears and pleading looks began to attract the neighbors' attention, I agreed to meet. We arranged to meet in a cafe near our old home. Sophia looked terrible, emaciated, with eyes red from crying. When she started speaking, her voice was filled with despair. "Thomas, I know I did something horrible, but believe me, I don't even understand how it happened. Leon just appeared in my life like a lightning bolt, captivated me with his attention, and I lost my mind. We wrote to each other on a forum for a long time, he seemed so understanding. I can't find any excuses for myself, but I love you. You are the only one for me. Give me another chance, I beg you. I'll make everything right," she pleaded, tears streaming down her face. I listened to her as she wallowed in her own misery, but all I felt was emptiness. Disappointment and hatred merged into one massive, disgusting feeling. Did she really think she could convince me to forget all of this? That I could trust her again? How could she have fallen so low? "Sophia, you betrayed me, our family, our shared dreams. You let a stranger sleep in our home, in our bed, and you knew it perfectly well. I worked day and night to give us the best. And what did I get in return? Betrayal, lies, and disgrace. You destroyed everything I believed in." She grabbed my hands, trying to lean in, but I coldly pushed her away. "We can try therapy. I'm willing to do anything, just don't leave," she pleaded, but I had already made up my mind. "No, Sophia, nothing will work out. I can't and I don't want to be with you anymore. I filed for divorce, and we will never go back to what we once had. Forget about me. And don't you dare call me ever again." I stood up from the table and left her alone in the empty cafe. She kept sitting there, sobbing and covering her face with her hands. When I stepped outside, I felt a huge weight lift off my shoulders. I was free. A few months went by. The divorce was finalized, I moved into a new apartment, and I found another job. Sometimes I thought about Sophia. Our happy days would occasionally pop up in my memory. But these memories no longer brought me pain or regret. I understood that I had made the right decision by letting her go. Now a new chapter of my life was opening, and I was ready to move forward, leaving the past behind. This is my story, dear friends. Write in the comments what you think about it. I'll be happy to read your opinions. If you liked this story, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share this story with your friends. See you in the next tale.